reason, or if something's confusing, or anything. Move down, move on. Keep going, keep going. Financial, yes. Correlation coefficient, correct. All right, let's do this. Question 36. We've got to learn how to put in our calculators again. Anyone actually remember and want to just say out their steps as they're doing it? Christian?
I'll go mode 2.
Mode. Mine says complex. Does yours number 2 say stat?
Yeah.
Okay then. 2 and then 2 is right. Only right because can you see you guys got x and a y? That's bivariate. 2 bi. The x is at the top one, y is the bottom one. If you just wanted x and not y, then the second 2 you press 1 instead of 2. All right, so now you got x and y. Put in your data. So start putting 6, 11, 16. For x's, you guys at home, just let me know if you're following through or if you're actually confused. And put your y's in. What'd you get? So you put all your data in, right? For x and y, then just press AC. Once you've done that, then you press Shift 1, which is always our data button, and 5 I'm guessing is reg.
Yeah.
Press 5, and then what letter do you pick there? R. R is the correlation coefficient, which is 3.
Yeah.
It should say 0.967. If it doesn't, that is wrong. Negative 0.967. You are correct. 3 decimal places, 2 marks. Easy. We'll just wait for you, Natalia. Don't worry, don't rush.
I forgot how to do it.
Don't worry, where are you up to? Did you put your X's and Y's in? Then press AC. It's gone now. Done. Shift 1. Where you see reg? What number? 5. Press it. We're looking for R. Correlation R.
Yeah, that's something.
Negative 0.967. Good. Describe the relationship using the strength and the direction of the linear relationship between the distance from the riverbank and the circumference of the tree. Is there someone messaging us in our chat? No. Go. Give me what you know about negative 0.967. So strength means obviously the number. The stronger it is, the closer it is to 1. The weaker it is, the closer it is to 0. The direction is talking about if it's positive or negative. So give me some words. Strong negative, you get, right, just using those words, that's it. If you were to get 2 marks, what would you say? Forget math, use your logic. Imagine it was worth $1 million. Someone comes into the street and says, hey, quick, this one here, distance from the riverbank, circumference of a tree, it's 0.967. What are you going to explain to them quickly?
The correlation of the data is a positive, negative.
No, it's negative, you mean, not positive.
Strong negative.
Strongly negative.
Yeah.
That's it. I can only still give you 1 mark. I think. I'll check the solution. What I would like to see is that the fact that it's negative, what does it mean it's doing? It doesn't actually matter one or the other. What I like to see, if you really get it, that means when it is negative, when one thing goes up, so as the distance from the riverbank increases, circumference of the tree decreases. And you can see that happening now if you look at the data. That's what I actually need to see for me to give you a second mark. Strong, negative, you can assume everybody that's doing this course, that's okay, should be able to write strongly negative. So that's 1 mark. But the second mark, to just get that extra mark, you probably, because it says describe, it doesn't just say it, state, it says describe, you've got to actually describe it. But here we go. 2 marks, would they have accepted? I'll find out right now. They would have accepted as long as you said the actual words riverbank and the circumference of a tree. So at this school, they would have accepted you saying strong negative correlation as long as it's mentioned between distance from the riverbank and the circumference of a tree. If you didn't, you don't get the second mark. If you just said strong negative, no second mark. Okay? Scrolling down. Me, I might have not given that mark. So that means if I was your marker in the HSC, I would have had to look at the mark and be marking criteria. And if that marking criteria says like that, then fair enough, I have to accept it. If the marking criteria says correct solution, which is usually what it says, or something thereof, then I can't accept that as a solution. And then a second marker would mark that and see what their opinion is. Just letting you know. Okay, part C. Have a read. The equation of the least squares regression line is shown. The circumference of the tree, what letter can I represent that as? Y equals. What letter can I represent this as usually? Letter M. Someone said M. Good. Then what letter is this one usually? X plus what letter is this usually? C, B, whatever letter you like. I usually use the letter B. Can you see how it's still y equals mx plus b? Completely different topic again, but it's actually the same thing. All right. Blah, 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 blah. There it is. A tree in this forest has a circumference of 56. So what letter is 56? Calculate the predicted distance to the nearest meter from this blah, 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 blah. So in other words, when you were like in year 9, this is what you were asked to do, right? In year 9. That was year 9. Now, year 12, they just put 5 extra sentences in. So, but don't see it like that anymore. Year 11, like I said, you're still finding yourselves, fair enough, but now, as you're putting all of math together, it's just going to be algebra and equations, most of the time. Good. Y equals 56, here it is. Tell me my next step to find X.
Take away the 83.
Take away the 83, 56, take away 83 is negative 27. How do I get rid of that gradient now? Divide. Excellent work. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. Don't forget this part, you'll lose a mark. I see some of my students right now, as I'm marking their exams, they are highlighting these keywords. Do it, just so you don't forget. $38 to the nearest meter. Double check my work. Happy with it? Yeah. Move on. Let's move on. That's part of trig. That's part of nonlinear relationships. That's what we're going to be doing if we get time today. If not, next week. That is what we did last week. Let's do that one as well. The table below shows the mean and standard deviation in 4 HSC subjects. Let's read them. In English, the average was 65 and there was a deviation of 10. In standard math, the average was 59, deviation is 12. Society and culture, 55, deviation of 8. Drama was 68, deviation of 15. So which one's which one's more spread out? Drama. Which one's less spread out? Society and culture. All right. Casey's marks were English 70, maths 66, society and culture 60, drama 79. In which subject did Casey achieve the best result? All right. What formula am I meant to be using from last week? Think about it. What formula? Z equals Z-scores. If you guys have forgotten, there's only two things we did last week, really. We did the normal distributions, the bell curves, and then the Z-scores. I think that's all, from memory anyways. Please review your work. Don't let me start giving you homework, because I don't feel like at this stage where you're at, you need homework. You need more exams. You need to spend all that time on doing exams. We're going to do our Z-scores. Z English, Z Math, Z Society, Z Drama. The formula was X minus average over standard deviation. So 70 take away 65 over 10. 66 take away 59 over 12. 60 take away 55 over 8. Last one, 79 take away 68 over 15. All right, can somebody quickly calculate?
0.5.
0.5.
For the first one.
Yep. Yep. Right, this is on the other ones.
0.583.
0.583. So 0.5, 0.583.
The society and culture is 0.625.
0.625.
Yeah.
Yep.
And drama is 0.73.
Okay. And which one's better? Do you want a higher Z score or a lower Z score? If we don't remember, we just say don't remember and we'll talk about it again.
5.
Why do you want a higher Z score?
Because it's over average. It's like more past the, what's it called? The mean. Yeah.
That's better. You have deviated further away from the mean. As long as it's positive. If it's negative, you want to have a smaller number. I'll do that to mess with your mind, because everyone starts to memorize which is larger Z scores, larger Z score. But then if it's negative, you actually want a smaller Z score, because obviously the more negative it is, the further away it's bad. Yeah. Sorry? It's still larger, but some people look at the numbers. That's what I'm trying to say, right? All right. Good job. Yes, you did better in drama because you've got a higher Z score, which means you're further away from the average. All good? 3 marks, by the way. But I guess what was hard about that question? Identifying that it is actually a Z score question. Right? You guys got to be able to identify what gives it out. Probably the topics. The fact that it says math, English, because that's usually how you're going to be worded. But the fact that you've got those three formulas or 3 parts. You've got the mark, you've got the mean, you've got the standard deviation. Definitely Z scores. And then in which did she do better? It's a classical question. Okay. Normally distributed, that's normal distributions last week. So let's do it again. A business makes batteries. A quality control check tested the number of hours the batteries lasted and found that the mean was 30 days and the deviation was 3.5. How do we draw these? The bell curve. What goes right in the middle? 30. Then we add 3.5 and we keep subtracting 3.5. So add 3.5, 33.5, and subtract 26.5. 23, 19.5. 37, 40.5. The results were normally distributed. What is the minimum number of days you would almost certainly expect a battery to last? What? I gotta read the whole thing. Again. Our business makes batteries. A quality control check tested the number of hours a battery lasts and found that the average was 30 days and standard deviation was 3.5. The results were normal. What is the minimum number of days you would almost certainly expect a battery to last? Okay. I got an answer in my head. I'm just going to make sure it's right. And then I'll check back with you guys. Yeah, that's it. 19.5. So what's the minimum number of days you would almost certainly say, if I was to sell this, if I knew this data, I came up to you and said, hey, use my batteries because absolutely will last you 19.5 days at the minimum. It could last 30, it could last 40.5, it could last a little bit more. But minimum, it should last you is 19.5 days. That was easy. It's just the wording that would confuse you. Sorry? Yeah, for 2 months. It is almost certain that a battery will last at least 19.5, or they would have accepted 20 days. So one or the other. Obviously, we would have said, I think I would have said 19.5. Is that okay? Move on. Anything else? Nope, that's it. A lot of networks, if you've seen in this paper.
Yeah, it was a huge question.
Okay.
Oh,